Imagine holding a piece of chocolate in your hand. It looks simple, small, sweet, almost ordinary. But what if I told you that this tiny piece of chocolate has a history filled with ancient civilizations, kings, explorers, luxury, war, science, and even a little bit of mystery? Today, chocolate is everywhere. We eat it when we celebrate. We give it as a gift. We use it to comfort ourselves after a difficult day. Children love it. Adults secretly crave it. And sometimes, one piece somehow turns into the entire bar. But chocolate was not always the sweet treat we know today. Its story began thousands of years ago, long before supermarkets, candy stores, or modern chocolate factories. And the most surprising part, the first people to enjoy cacao didn't eat chocolate the way we do, they drank it. Thousands of years ago, deep in the tropical regions of Central and South America, people discovered a strange fruit growing on cacao trees. The fruit looked nothing like the chocolate bars we recognize today. Inside were cacao beans surrounded by a sweet, white pulp. For ancient civilizations, these beans became incredibly valuable. The Maya were among the cultures that developed a strong connection with cacao. They didn't simply see it as food. Cacao became part of their culture, ceremonies, celebrations, and even religious traditions. Imagine walking into an ancient Maya gathering more than 1,000 years ago. There are no chocolate wrappers, no chocolate fountains, no milk chocolate. Instead, people are preparing a dark, bitter drink made from ground cacao beans, water, and spices. And there was something unusual about the way they prepared it. They would pour the liquid from one container to another, creating a thick layer of foam on top. For us, chocolate is usually associated with sweetness. For them, cacao could be bitter, spicy, powerful, and even sacred. And then came another great civilization, the Aztecs. The Aztecs valued cacao so highly that cacao beans were sometimes used as a form of currency. Think about that for a moment. Today, you might pay for something with a bank card or cash, but in the Aztec world, cacao beans could actually have value like money. Cacao was also connected with status and power. According to historical accounts, the Aztec ruler Montezuma was known for consuming a cacao-based drink. But there was a major difference between ancient cacao and the chocolate we know today. It wasn't a candy, it wasn't a dessert. It was closer to a strong, bitter beverage. And then history took a dramatic turn. European explorers arrived in the Americas. When Europeans encountered cacao, they discovered something completely unfamiliar. At first, the bitter taste wasn't exactly love at first sip, but eventually Europeans began experimenting with the drink. They added sugar, they added spices, and slowly, cacao started becoming something much closer to the chocolate we recognize today. This was the beginning of a transformation that would change the world. Chocolate traveled from the Americas to Europe, where it became increasingly popular among wealthy and powerful people. But there was a problem. Chocolate was expensive, very expensive, required cacao beans, sugar, labor, and complicated preparation. For a long time, chocolate was a luxury that ordinary people couldn't easily afford. It was associated with aristocrats, royal courts, and wealthy families. Imagine being invited to a royal gathering hundreds of years ago. Instead of someone offering you coffee or tea, you might be served an elegant cup of hot chocolate. Chocolate wasn't just something you ate. It was an experience, a symbol of wealth, a sign that you belonged to a certain social class. But then technology changed everything. And this is where the history of chocolate becomes truly fascinating. During the Industrial Revolution, machines began transforming the way cacao was processed. Chocolate could now be produced faster, more efficiently, and eventually at a much lower cost. And then came one of the most important inventions in chocolate history, the chocolate bar. In the 19th century, chocolatiers developed new techniques that allowed cocoa solids, cocoa butter, and sugar to be combined into a smooth, solid product. For the first time, chocolate wasn't just a drink, it could be eaten. And that simple change created an entirely new industry. Companies began producing chocolate on a massive scale. Advertising made chocolate famous, packaging made it attractive, and suddenly, chocolate was no longer only for kings and wealthy families. It was becoming something ordinary people could enjoy. Milk chocolate made the experience even sweeter. By adding milk or milk powder, manufacturers created a smoother, creamier taste that attracted millions of new consumers. Chocolate was changing again. But there is another side of this story that we don't always see when we open a chocolate wrapper. Behind every chocolate bar is a long journey. Cacao trees grow mainly in tropical regions close to the equator. The cacao fruit must be harvested, opened, fermented, dried, roasted, and processed before it becomes the chocolate we know. That means the little chocolate bar sitting in your hand may have traveled through several countries and passed through the hands of many workers before reaching you. And this is where the history of chocolate becomes more complicated. Chocolate became a global industry, but the people producing cacao have often faced difficult working conditions and low incomes. Issues involving child labor, poverty, environmental damage, and fair payment have become important parts of modern conversations about chocolate. So the next time you eat chocolate, remember that you're not just eating a sweet. You're eating the result of a history that stretches across continents and centuries. But chocolate's story doesn't stop there. Scientists have also been fascinated by cacao. Cacao contains naturally occurring compounds that can affect the brain and body. That's one reason chocolate has developed a reputation for making people feel good. But here's something important. Chocolate isn't magic, and not every chocolate product has the same nutritional value. A heavily processed chocolate bar loaded with sugar is very different from dark chocolate with a high percentage of cocoa. So while chocolate can be part of a balanced lifestyle, it is still something to enjoy responsibly. And perhaps that's what makes chocolate so interesting. It exists somewhere between pleasure, culture, history, business, science, and emotion. Think about how often chocolate appears in our lives: birthdays, weddings, Valentine's Day, holidays, celebrations, apologies, romantic moments, comfort after a bad day, even simple moments alone at night. Chocolate has somehow become connected with human emotions. And maybe that's why its story has lasted for thousands of years. People change. Civilizations rise and fall. Technology transforms our lives, but our desire for something delicious, comforting, and memorable remains. From ancient cacao drinks to modern chocolate bars, the journey has been extraordinary. A fruit that once grew in the forests of the Americas eventually became one of the world's most recognizable foods. And think about how strange that journey really is. A bitter bean, harvested from a tropical fruit, processed by human hands, transported across oceans, transformed by technology, and eventually placed inside a shiny wrapper, all so that someone, somewhere, can open it and take one small bite. That bite connects you to thousands of years of history, to ancient Maya traditions, to the Aztec world, to European explorers, to royal courts, to the Industrial Revolution, to modern factories, and to millions of farmers who continue growing cacao today. So perhaps the next time you hold a piece of chocolate, don't look at it as just candy. Look at it as a tiny piece of history, a A history that began with a mysterious tropical fruit and traveled across civilizations to become one of the world's favorite foods. And maybe that's the real secret of chocolate. Its power isn't only in its taste, it's in the story behind it. A story of discovery, a story of transformation, a story of wealth and innovation, a story of people, and above all, a story that proves how something incredibly small can have an incredibly big impact on the world. So, after hearing all of this, I have one question for you. When you eat your next piece of chocolate, will you ever look at it the same way again? Maybe you'll remember the ancient cacao drink. Maybe you'll imagine the explorers who carried cacao across the ocean. Maybe you'll think about the factories that transformed it into the chocolate bar we know today. Or maybe you'll simply take another bite. And honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you enjoyed this journey through the surprising history of chocolate. Don't let the story end here. Hit the like button if you learned something new, share this video with someone who loves chocolate, and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories from history, science, culture, and the world around us. And before you leave, tell me in the comments, what is your favorite type of chocolate? Dark milk, white, or something completely different? I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep wondering, keep discovering, and remember, sometimes the smallest things have the biggest stories.